Everyone told them they were broken. Sit still, pay attention. Why can't you just be normal? They got medicated, held back, written off. Teachers called them lazy. Parents called them difficult. Doctors called them a disorder. But here's what nobody told you. The same brain that gets a kid failed out of third grade is the same brain that built Virgin Atlantic, founded IKEA, and wrote A Beautiful Mind. Richard Branson, ADHD. Ingvar Kamprad, ADHD. Ingvar Kamprad, ADHD. John Nash, ADHD. And it's not in spite of how their brains work, it's because of it. Neuroscientists have spent the last decade quietly uncovering something that completely dismantles everything you were taught about focus, intelligence, and learning. ADHD brains don't have a deficit. They have a different operating system. One that, when used correctly, learns faster, creates more, and solves problems that normal brains can't even see. I'm about to show you exactly how it works. And by the end of this, you're going to wish your brain worked more like theirs. Chapter 1. The Hyperfocus Weapon. Everyone knows the stereotype. ADHD means can't focus. Wrong. Embarrassingly wrong. ADHD brains don't have less focus. They have unsteerable focus. There's a massive difference. A normal brain focuses on command. An ADHD brain focuses at full power, but only on what it finds genuinely compelling. Doctors call this hyperfocus. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent his career studying peak performance states. He called it flow, that condition where time disappears, output triples, and the work feels effortless. Most people access flow occasionally, accidentally, maybe a few times a year. ADHD brains access hyperfocus constantly, involuntarily. It's not a superpower they control. It's a mode they fall into, and when they're in it, they are literally unreachable. Branson didn't build a billion-dollar empire by forcing himself to sit through boring meetings. He built it by going absolutely feral on the things that lit his brain up. His staff learned to work around the hyperfocus, not fight it. His competitors were disciplined. He was obsessed. Discipline lost. Here's the practical mechanism. ADHD brains have lower baseline dopamine. That sounds bad. It isn't. It means their brains are constantly hunting for stimulation that spikes dopamine back to normal levels. When they find it, the dopamine flood is enormous. The focus that follows is superhuman. Your brain rewards you mildly for doing things. Their brain rewards them massively. When the reward hits, nothing in the world exists except the task. University of Michigan researchers found that ADHD subjects in hyperfocus states showed sustained attention periods 300% longer than neurotypical subjects in normal focus. They're not distracted. They're selectively, devastatingly focused on the thing that matters most to them. The system schools used to fix them, structure, repetition, compliance, was literally dismantling their greatest cognitive asset. But here's the problem though. Hyperfocus only ignites on the right fuel. And most people, ADHD or not, have no idea how to find their fuel. That's where the second system comes in. Chapter 2. Chaos as a feature. Normal brains need order to function, quiet environment, clear desk, structured schedule. ADHD brains function in chaos, not despite it, because of it. This sounds like a liability until you understand what chaos does neurologically. Mild environmental chaos, background noise, movement, variety, keeps the ADHD brain's arousal system elevated just enough to prevent the crash into boredom. Researchers at the University of Central Florida found that moderate ambient noise, around 70 decibels, the level of a busy coffee shop, significantly improved creative cognitive output in high novelty-seeking brains. The distraction isn't the problem, silence is. ADHD entrepreneurs disproportionately report doing their best thinking in airports, coffee shops, and open offices. Places every productivity guru tells you to avoid. They're not broken. They're calibrated differently. And here's the thing, you can steal this calibration. Coffee shop noise tracks, 70 decibels. YouTube has hundreds of them. Play it during your hardest cognitive work. Your brain gets just enough stimulation to stop hunting for escape. Focus stabilizes. Output goes up. ADHD brains discovered this by accident because silence made them insane. You get to do it on purpose. But focus and environment still aren't the full picture, because the most dangerous cognitive weapon ADHD brains carry has nothing to do with attention at all. Chapter 3. The connection machine. Normal brains think in straight lines. Step 1 leads to step 2 leads to step 3. Clean, logical, predictable. ADHD brains think in explosions. One idea detonates into 14. Those 14 explode into 100. Most of those connections are useless noise, but buried inside the noise are connections that linear thinkers will never find because they never went there. Neuroscientists call this divergent thinking, the ability to generate a high volume of loosely connected ideas rapidly. It's the cognitive foundation of every major creative and entrepreneurial breakthrough in history. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Attention Disorders found that adults with ADHD significantly outperform neurotypical adults on standard divergent thinking assessments. Not slightly. Significantly. Their brains aren't worse at thinking. They're running a completely different kind of thinking. The kind that looks at a broken system and immediately sees 5 ways to fix it. The kind that connects 2 unrelated fields and finds a product nobody imagined. The kind that makes investors say, "Where did that come from?" and makes competitors ask, "Why didn't we think of that?" David Nerman, founder of JetBlue, said it directly. "Without ADHD, I wouldn't have the creative ideas I have. It's a gift, and I recognize it as a gift." Hit subscribe before you forget this. We're about to get to the part nobody talks about. Chapter 4. The failure immunity. Here's the dark side that makes everything else possible. ADHD brains fail constantly. Publicly. Repeatedly. Badly. They forget deadlines. They abandon projects halfway. They say the wrong thing. They blow up systems that were working fine because they got bored. Normal brains experience this level of failure and stop. The shame is too much. The social cost is too high. Protect the reputation. Play it safe. ADHD brains fail so often that the failure stops registering as catastrophic. They build what psychologists call failure immunity, an unconscious recalibration that makes the next attempt feel lower stakes than the last one, because it's already happened so many times. Branson launched over 400 companies. More than 300 failed or were sold. He doesn't experience 300 failures as trauma. He experiences them as data. His ADHD brain was trained by life to expect failure, ignore it, and keep moving. That's not optimism. That's neurological conditioning from years of falling down and not dying. The result is an adult who takes swings that terrify every rational, linear, normal person in the room, and occasionally hits something that changes an entire industry. Most people need certainty before they move. ADHD brains move without it. In a world that rewards speed and iteration, that's not a flaw. That's the entire game. Here's what all 4 chapters actually mean. ADHD brains access hyperfocus states normal brains can't reach. They're calibrated for the chaotic environments where real creative work happens. They generate divergent connections that linear thinkers will never stumble into, and they've been failure conditioned into a risk tolerance that makes them dangerous in any competitive environment. The system told them they were broken. The data says they were different. And different in the right direction is the whole point. You don't need an ADHD diagnosis to use any of this. Find your hyperfocus fuel and protect it. Add controlled chaos to your environment instead of fighting it. Schedule divergent thinking time before you need solutions, and fail faster on purpose before the stakes get high. But here's the problem though. None of this matters if you're still forgetting everything you learned the moment real pressure hits. That's the one gap that shuts down even the sharpest brains. That's why I made this video, breaking down the exact system elite performers use to make everything stick permanently. Watch it next.